Good afternoon, everyone.
Welcome to
our Fairfield Induction evening. We are coming to you virtually, but we are very much live. My name is Shan Campbell. I'm an assistant vice principal at Fairfield. I'm also in charge of overseeing Year 7 as well as transition. So there will be a lot of communication from myself and Mr. Shant, who's the head of year, who's here with us this evening as well. And our job is to make sure that students, when they arrive in Year 7, feel settled, feel comfortable, and able to maneuver around the building as best as possible, as well as accessing their learning and our fantastic extracurricular activities. So today we're going to give you a little taste of some of the learning that happens in school, some of the extracurricular activities in school, and to give students a real sense of what Fairfield is like, because they couldn't be in the building. So we are really upset about that, but hopefully our virtual package will answer some questions and lessen any anxiety or nervousness. As I said, we are very much live, so please do put questions to us in the chat function, and myself and Mr. Shand will do our utmost to answer as many of your questions within the next hour. So first of all, before I introduce Mr. Shand, we're going to show you a little video. And this video will be a nice tour of our school grounds and what you can expect to see in September. And now we will have a little introduction from Mr. Shand.
Hi, I'm Mr. Shand, the Achievement Coordinator for Year 7. I'm going to go through a few slides with you, just covering a few areas around what we have in place when pupils start in September and touch a little bit onto summer school. When pupils start in September, there is a long line of pastoral support and extra interventions and sessions that we have in place available to pupils. Myself, I am the Achievement Coordinator for Year 7. There will also be an Achievement Manager who supports me in running the year group. All pupils will have a tutor who they will see every morning and will be the first point of contact between home and school. Extra sessions that we run are movement therapy, Empire Fighting Chants, CYN. We also have a school counsellor and a school nurse. Myself and the Achievement Manager, as part of the pastoral team, we will run one-to-one sessions and also group sessions for the pupils. Key members of staff that you may wish to know is myself, Miss Campbell, who is the Assistant Vice Principal, who oversees the year group. Mr. Mead and Miss Kelly are part of our Senko team, who will put extra support in place for pupils when needed and also run assessments. So again, we can make sure that pupils are supported appropriately during lessons. Mrs. Kramer-Arden is our summer school lead. And if you do have any questions around summer school, you can get in contact with her. Summer school, this week we're offering a 1-week program with the option of 2 different weeks to attend. Unique Voice will lead on the summer school with support from Fairfield staff. An email will be sent out confirming your place on summer school. And if you do have any questions, you can contact Miss Lewis. Her email is attached. It's a few pictures from previous summer school experiences for pupils who again engage in a range of fun activities while getting to know each other and also getting to know the building. Packs have been sent out in the post. If you haven't received it already, it will be with you shortly. And they include a few different pieces. We've added in some extra resources as a substitute for not being able to run our induction day. You'll have our handbook, which will go through a lot of the pieces you need to have ready for September. You'll also be informed of your tutor group, what language you will be studying, and what house you are in, which will let you know what color tie you need to get in preparation for September. Information on who the tutor will be will go up on our transitions page before the end of this term. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Shand. We also have a vertical and horizontal pastoral structure. So students will, as Mr. Shand said, have support from their achievement coordinator and achievement manager, but also their tutor, who they will see every single morning. But we also run a house system here. So it's a great opportunity for students to have competitions, liaise with other students across the school. Pre-COVID, that would mean often assemblies and external activities. As we are maneuvering through COVID, we have moved to a more virtual package. However, we still have a really active house team. So I'm going to show you a nice little video from our heads of house. Enjoy.
Hello, Year 6. My name is Miss Eyre, and I'm here with the rest of the heads of houses to tell you a little bit about our house system here at Fairfield High School. Now, my house is Green Emerald House.
Hi, my name is Miss Gibbons and I'm head of Amethyst House, which is the purple house.
I'm Miss Thornton and I'm Team Ruby.
I'm Miss Thompson and I'm head of Sapphire House, which is the blue house. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the house system. So just like Hogwarts, we are split up into 4 houses and we compete against each other throughout the year to earn house points.
Another really important of our house system is the student council. Student council is where loads of really important decisions get made, like the names of the houses. We are all named after precious gemstones because that came through student voice.
So what roles can you do? We offer different roles. We have sport captains that are responsible for doing sporting events throughout the year. We also have house captains that take a role in doing loads of events throughout the year. And we also have our mental health ambassadors.
One of the most exciting things about our house system are the prizes that you can win. The more house points you get, the bigger and better prizes you can get as well. So we do lots of different events throughout the year, and we are always listening to student voice. So if there's something you would like us to do, you can put in your suggestions through the school council. Some of the events we've had have been a talent show for Key Stage 3, a bake-off, spelling bees, tug of wars, inter-house competitions, sporting events, and just before the summer we're having a big point surge which is going to be giving away loads and loads of prizes. So the thing you need to do when you get here in year 7 is to try to get as many house points as possible for your house.
See you in September!
Okay, so that was just a swift video from our heads of house. We're also going to give you a little taste of what you can expect from our SEND team. So Mrs. Kelly will be in the next video. She will work really closely with students and with members of staff and external agencies regarding special educational needs and support.
Hi everybody, I am Miss Kelly and I am the SEND and Access Arrangements Coordinator at Fairfield High School. So this year we've began a new transition programme for our SEN pupils. So any pupils that arrive to Fairfield that already have any kind of SEN, we have now a scheduled programme in order to make their time at Fairfield the best possible. So usually we will make contact with parents and the primary school and the student in term 5. This will involve the initial meet at the school where we kind of introduce ourselves formally to the students. We'll spend time with the students' teachers, getting to know them, learning what strategies they use, what works, what interventions have been done, and so on. We'll also reach out to parents and carers, kind of say who we are, what we are there to do and help with, and start collecting all the information in preparation for creating their individual pupil passport before September starts. In term 6, we will aim to invite all of those pupils to Fairfield to have their own unique individual tour so that they can see everywhere around the school, come and meet the SEN team. And at the end of term 6, we will make sure that their pupil passport has been created, that the school and that parents are happy with it, so that we can distribute that information ready for September, so that all of the strategies and the interventions and the support that works for the SEN pupils are already in place for September. When September begins, we will also do a transition intervention, small group intervention that will definitely last for term 1 and possibly into term 2 if we believe it's needed. And in this intervention, which will meet weekly for an hour, we'll go over some things, happy with where to go in the school, make sure that everyone is set up with our online resources, getting to know friends, homework support, and so on. Again, with the idea that at the end of term 2 latest, our SEN pupils have transitioned really, really successfully and confidently to Fairfield.
Okay, so as well as the SEND support that you will receive at Fairfield and the pastoral support, we are really, really active in terms of extracurricular as well. One of our key spaces in school is our library. And so we have a lovely video from our senior librarian offering you the opportunity to participate in a competition. So have a little listen.
Hello, I'm Miss Long and I'm the librarian at Fairfield High School. You're seeing me today because I want to tell you about our summer reading challenge we've got running in our school, and we really want to invite you along to it because you're going to be joining us in September, and we think you're going to love it. So all you've got to do is read, relax and enjoy. Here I've got our reading pack, which we're going to send out to you at home or at your school. Inside the reading pack you've got some great ideas of books to read over the summer, and we've developed a really special check card. There's lots of different things for you to read, from poems to adventure stories. You just read the ones that you want, tick them off, and then you can write the titles of your books in here, okay? And the people who read the most will win prizes when they join us in September. I've also put some other activities in there so you can make your own bookmark or colour it in, or even write the books that you've got in that you've read over the summer. Anyway, I won't take up any more of your time. I just wanted to tell you about something really exciting that you can get involved in before you join us in September. I'm really looking forward to meeting you. Have a great summer and I'll see you soon.
So that is a lot of our videos. We're now going to go to the Q&A section. The first question is one in the chat about if a student is lost around the building. That's absolutely fine. It's bound to happen. It's a new space, a new environment. A couple of things that students can do: ask somebody. Students are really friendly here, as well as staff. So you can ask somebody and say that you're lost, and they'll point you in the right direction, walk you to where you need to be. If there's nobody around because they're in lessons, they're teaching, you can go down to main reception. You will be shown where that is, and you can ask somebody in main reception and they will get you to your lesson. Don't panic about getting late or being told off. It's very reasonable for staff to expect students to be a little bit late as they learn to maneuver around the building. Part of the getting to know you activity that you will experience on day one in term one next academic year will be learning how to read your timetable. It will be learning about what the different floors mean, what the different rooms mean, just so that you can access the building as easy as possible. So don't panic, just ask for help. We've had another question come through. This one I'm going to ask Mr. Shand if you can answer. What can students expect on the first day? Where do they need to go? What time do they need to be here? Please, can you give a little overview?
Hi all. First day, students will come in and they will have a small assembly with myself, just going over some of the areas around settling in and just making sure if they do have any questions, I can answer them before they start their day and make their way up to their tutor groups. Their tutors will come and meet them from the assembly, and the first part of the day, they will be doing a few icebreaker activities with their tutor and getting to know the rest of the pupils in their class. The first day, they will be doing light activities, won't be going directly into any lessons. So the first day will be a good chance for them to get to know key members of staff, also get to know a little bit about their movement around the building, timings of the day, break time, lunchtime, etc. And just a real easing in the first day, just getting to know some of the expectations around being at Fairfield and putting them at ease in regards to any questions or anything that they may not be sure of on that first day. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Shan. Just to add, there will be some lesson participation. The morning will very much be getting to know you. And then after break time, students will have an opportunity to meet some of their teachers. So there will be a mixture of introduction lessons and quality time with tutor and year team. Another question that has been raised is the information that was in the packs. So as you're all aware, we were unable to hold in-person induction days for students. So what we have done is we've created a virtual induction package. So If you go through our transition page, which we can put the link in this chat now, you'll see a variety of different activities. You can click on a heart of a particular subject. It links with the We Are Fairfield theme, and you can participate in those activities. Any activity that you complete, you bring your sheet into school on that first day in, and you'll automatically start to gain house points. So it's a really great way to start your year really positively. It's totally optional. If you want to complete one or two, if you want to complete all of them, it's totally up to you. So we will send everybody the sheets to support the virtual activities, but it's your decision whether you choose to participate or not. Another question that we have in relation to clubs. Mr. Shand, I think you'd be the best one to answer that one. Please, can you give a little flavour of some of the activities that students can participate in?
Hi again. Yeah, we have a variety of different clubs that run at lunchtime or after school. A few of them, so we have a few that are based around the different subjects. So we do have Maths Club, English, Modern Language. We do have a Hearing Impaired Club. And then on top of that, we do have a variety of different games clubs, from board games. We have Nature Club, Anime Club, LGBTQ Club, Debate Club. We have a variety of different sports clubs, which will change every term depending on what the pupils are doing in PE. So there will be a club after school based around that sport. And we do always have the space to set up new clubs. So in the past, I have spoken with a few pupils and we've set up a few extra clubs that people might be interested in, so they can partake in. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Shand. We've had a few questions about lunches. We are a cashless school here, so students do not pay cash for their lunch in exchange. We would like parents, carers to use our payment system. We use Parent Mail here. It's a great way for you to keep track of what students are spending, how often you choose to top up, etc. It's totally within your control. Students do have a limit, so they cannot spend more than £5 a day. And they can get lunch here. We do not have break time snacks going into term 1, so students will need to bring break time snacks with them. However, we do offer a free breakfast. So we often have breakfast bagels that students can collect in the morning. They are free, so they can definitely have something hearty to eat if they miss their breakfast at home, or if they wanted to take the bagel for a snack at break time, totally optional to them. But in terms of lunches, cashless system and payment is made through Parent Mail, excuse me. The other point to note with lunches is the time. So lunch here is at 1:40 until 2:25. So our lunch is a little bit later in the day, probably later than what primary schools are. So we do really encourage breakfast, and we do really encourage a snack as well if students may get a little bit hungry. But 1:40 is our lunchtime here. Another question for you, Mr. Shand, in relation to tutors. When will students find out what tutor group they're in, who their tutor is?
Hi, the information in the pack, which some of you have already received and some of you will be receiving very soon through the post, will inform you of what tutor group you have been placed in. Before we break up for summer, we will announce what tutors will be heading up each tutor group, and that information will go up on our transition page. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Shand. Another really important point is just the running order of the school day. So school students can access the school building from 8:30 in the morning. We do have a tutor period which starts at 8:45. So students are expected to be in school by 8:45, and then their tutor time is from 8:45 until their first lesson, and first lesson starts at 9:10. We have hour lessons here. We have 5 periods or lessons in a day. So students will go to tutor. They will then participate in lessons 1 and 2. Then they will have a break time. Break is at 11:10 until 11:40. And then they'll have another 2 periods from 11:40 until 1:40. And then they'll have their lunchtime, and then they'll have their final period of the day. And because of COVID, we have decided to stagger the end of our school days. So different year groups leave at different stages. That is our current system. However, in September, that could well change. We very much follow the guidance, as I can imagine you all do. And so when things change, we try to act as swiftly as possible. Our last sort of end period is 3:25. And the decision is if we are allowed to let students leave the school altogether at the end of the day, then that will happen. If we have to stagger in order to maintain COVID safety features, then we will implement a stagger, and that may come from around 3:15. But a final decision on that will be made by the end of this academic year, and changes will be posted on our school website, on our transition page, and we'll send information out via parent mail. So if you haven't sent in registration forms, or if you haven't added an email address, please do so, because that's often a really quick mode of information, especially as you can imagine things are changing so rapidly. We've got another question. PE kit, is it needed on the first day? Absolutely not. There will be no PE on that first day. As Mr. Shand explained, we will have a pastoral start to the day, and then students will feed into lessons later on, and it will be very much getting to know you, expectations, taster activities. So students will not need their PE kit on the very first day of school. A uniform question. We do have a uniform here at Fairfield. All the information is on our school website. If you are struggling with maybe getting access to, say, our school jumper or ties, because as you can imagine, orders are coming through quite rapidly through our supplier, that's absolutely fine. No student will be penalised for not having a tie or having a school jumper, as long as they've got a pair of black or grey trousers or skirt, or if they would like to wear shorts, it's possible. Black polishable shoes and a white shirt, long or short sleeve is again your decision. That's absolutely fine. As we move through the year and the weather changes, jumpers are advisable, and we do have our school logo jumper that is expected, as well as our tie. We also have a lending system here, so if a student forgets an item or doesn't have it for whatever reason, we can swap items in and out. So we are very clear about our uniform policy, but we understand that there is a need for flexibility as well. Mobile phones. Mr. Shand, do you want to explain a little bit, and then I'll take over? Mobile phones, are they allowed in school?
Mobile phones are allowed in Fairfield. Main rules around them is during lesson time, they should be switched off and out of sight. During break and lunch time, pupils are allowed to go on their phones as long as they're being used appropriately. And Kashan, is there, Ms. Campbell, anything you wish to add?
Thanks, Mr. Shand. Just a little bit more information. Our principal, Mr. Nick Lewis, he's a very firm believer that technology is important. And as you can imagine, through the last 15 months that we've had, technology has been a vital key to enable us to provide education to students. So we do allow mobile phones here. We do really teach students the value of using their information as sensitively as possible, and also how to be appropriate online. I think it's a really important lesson, especially as we move towards an ever more digital age. So we definitely do try to implement really high standards for our students and what is expected. If students do abuse their use of technology, whether it's a mobile phone or a computer, a laptop, we do issue sanctions where there is that abuse and where we have evidence of it. So we definitely do not let things slide, but we do appreciate that it is important for students to have that ability to connect, whether it's in school, through activities that are happening in school. Often students will look at their timetable on their phone. So we understand that it is an essential tool for them, but it's not compulsory. So if your child or young person doesn't have a mobile phone, they will not need to have one to be able to function successfully in secondary school. Another question. Can students change tutor group?
Students can change tutor group for a few different circumstances. I have moved pupils tutor groups in the past. If you receive your tutor information and you have another preference, you can email myself, and if there's space, if it fits, then I will be happy to try and accommodate as much as I can. After starting in September, again, if there is an issue or a preference and you would like a tutor move, you can let me know. And again, if it fits and I think it will do well for the pupil moving to another tutor group and there's space, then again, I will look at all the options in regards to keeping classes throughout the year group well balanced. And they can move tutor group. Okay, so there is always the possibility, but it's very much dependent on the spaces and the reasons for moving tutor group. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Shand. A question with regards to our behaviour policy and behaviour points. We do have a behaviour policy here at Fairfield, and our focus is very much on a restorative approach. So we have a stage system where if students are not following instructions, are misbehaving, we use the stage system. As a result, dependent on the level of stage, there will be a sanction, whether it's a stage a stage 1, which is just a reminder, or a stage 2, which requires a further conversation with the young person and that particular member of staff at the most convenient time, often after the lesson, a break time, a lunch, or after school. A stage 3 for more severe sanction, like a detention, like community service, or further. We do, as I said, have the restorative approach. So students are asked to write statements, members of staff are asked to write statements, and a member of the pastoral team and the SLT team will liaise with one another following the incidents that come through the school day. Any sanctions that are severe will always be liaised with at least another member of the senior leadership team, including the principal, because we like to communicate. We want to ensure that there is a really clear picture with regards to whatever the situation may be. And then that those instances are communicated home when they are stage 3 or higher. If it's stage 1, there is no behaviour point, and the conversation on warning stops there. The same with the stage 2, they will pick up a behaviour point at that stage. But again, it's the restorative opportunity for the young person and that member of staff to attempt to rebuild the situation so that it doesn't keep reoccurring. And then the stage 3, that member of staff or a member of the pastoral team or a member of the senior leadership team, dependent on the severity of the situation, will then make contact home. We find that this approach really works well. Our students understand the system. They are very clear as to why they are getting that sanction. And we find that the writing of the statement really does help because instances are investigated. Sometimes it can be done in a day. Other times we need a little bit more information. We may need to liaise with other people. And so it can take a little bit longer, but we do aim to have decisions made on that day, the following morning, just to ensure there is some clarity around why that sanction has been given. Another question with regards to uniform in summer school. Absolutely not necessary. Students are encouraged to wear their own clothes as long as they're appropriate items of clothing, because we are in a school. And if we have a second-hand policy with regards to uniform, that is a little bit different. So we have a organisation linked to our school called Fairfield Parents Network, and they run a variety of different events throughout our school year, often to support with events that are happening within school, raise money, etc. And so part of that will be a uniform package. And we also have lost property as well. So any items that are lost, it goes out at the end of our school day. If families are struggling with uniform purchase, they can liaise with their achievement coordinator, they can liaise with the principal, they can liaise with myself as year 7 or another member of staff attached to the year group. Each member of SLT is attached to a year group. And we can attempt to support, whether it's putting you in touch with external agencies or otherwise. So it's just about communication. And if we've missed something, then we're always willing to listen to new ideas and see how we can implement them into our school structure. A question about catering. Are we a nut-free school? Currently, no, but we are very aware of Natasha's law, which is coming into effect in October. And so we are revamping our catering currently based on student feedback, based on staff voice as well. We are looking at our menus, and part of that looking at the menu will be thinking about the ingredients that are used and how we can ensure that they are clearly stated to ensure safety. Of course, if families are aware of an allergy that a young person has, we encourage them to tell us. It will go on their system. And so when we order lunches, it will come up on their screen that they have a nut allergy, or that they need gluten-free, or they are vegan, or they require halal. All of that information comes up. However, our meat is always halal anyway, but we also make sure that that information is present. So please do let us know if there is an one for you, Mr. Shand. Will students need a computer or a laptop in order to do homework?
They won't need a laptop. They'll need to have a device where they can log into Microsoft Teams, which is where majority of the homework will be set. On the odd occasion, they may get to take their workbook home to complete homework, or they may be given a worksheet to revise or to complete and bring back. Teams can be downloaded on a laptop, computer, or a smartphone, and also a tablet. If they don't have access and would like to work in school, they can work in the library during lunch, or they can stay after school for a little bit of time. And myself, I always set up 2 times where we run a mini homework club for year 7s. So they can come and sit with me during lunch, or they can come and sit with me for a little bit of time after school. And usually it is well attended, and people are okay to work together, and also have staff on hand to help them with little bits as well. If there is major issues in regards to getting a device at home to access Teams, in some circumstances, we may be able to provide a laptop. Thank you.
Thank you. Off the back of our conversation around behaviour, there's been a question about bullying. We have a zero tolerance in relation to bullying here at Fairfield. As I said, communication is key. We often remind students the different ways in which they can report incidences. We are very aware that if a situation pertaining to bullying is occurring in school, that individual may not feel like they can talk to anybody, or they may be worried with regards to the repercussions. So we often have sessions and conversations with students, tutor groups, one-on-one and whole year groups with regards to how they can report something sensitively. Each pastoral office has a little box outside of it where if students are worried about anything, bullying, homework, a particular lesson, a relationship with a member of staff, they can put their comments, questions in that box. Our pastoral team check it very regularly, and then they will liaise with that young person. With regards to bullying explicitly, when it is found, we go through the same restorative approach. So we will take statements from all of those involved and then issue sanctions accordingly. And of course, liaise with home, because we appreciate that sometimes students may not come forward to people at home, but we also recognise that sometimes they do, and we need home to communicate with us in case we are not aware of the situation. So we really do encourage a triage in terms of communication with the student, school. Back to you, Mr. Shand, a question with regards to our singles and doubles event that was cancelled due to COVID restrictions. How will we support those students?
So I will have a list and be checking in with our singles and doubles pupils throughout summer school. If those pupils do miss it, then again, the first day when they do start in September, I will be checking in with those pupils, and also setting up a few links in regards to pupils that may be in a similar situation. And just making sure by the end of that first day that they are comfortable within a group of friends and have a few new people that they have started to engage with. And pretty much throughout that first week, now we've missed singles and doubles this year, unfortunately. I will make sure regular check-ins, just making sure that they are settling in, and that they are starting to form friendship groups with people that have similar interests to them from conversations with myself. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Shand. Another one for you with regards to homework. How can students access homework? How often are they given homework? Please, can you explain a little bit?
In regards to accessing homework, it will be sent through their account. So once they start with us, they will be given their own personal logins to their team's account. Every subject has a different timetable that they set with the head of each faculty in regards to when they set their homeworks. So as I said to a lot of the pupils when I went out and met them, is some weeks you may not have a lot of homework set, and then the following week, a majority of your lessons that you may have may set you a piece of homework, whether it's a task or whether it's just going away and just revising a few words for a little in-lesson test the following week, etc. But once pupils do start here, the different subjects will be able to give them a more detailed outline of the time scale of when homeworks will be set and due back in. Thank you.
We've had a question with regards to pastoral care and how students can access it. So as it was mentioned, students will see their tutor every single morning. As well as their tutor, they will also have an achievement manager. For year 7, it's Mr. Shand. All other year groups will have another person, but an achievement coordinator. They'll also have an achievement manager. And the achievement manager is a second level of pastoral support that students can access. They have their own office, and so students are encouraged to go and speak to them, break times, lunch times, before and after school. If something quite urgent has happened and it requires them to, at the end of, say, period 1, go and seek support from their pastoral person, that's absolutely fine. It's just not often done in school, to be honest. Students manage to find that right time to have a conversation, but we recognize that that isn't always possible in a break or a lunchtime. So whenever they need the support, they can access it. We also have an exit card system. So when students are experiencing a particular difficulty, they can have a discussion with their achievement coordinator or their achievement manager, and they'll issue them an exit card. And that's an opportunity for them to take a 5-minute step out of a lesson if they are feeling overwhelmed, or if they're feeling upset, or if something traumatic has happened to them, and so they require that additional support. We also have one-to-one pastoral check-ins as well. So students can access additional support on a regular basis should they require it. Again, it's about the communication with home and with school, so that we can put a meaningful plan in place. And it's also reminding students that they have to be resilient, and that there are times when you will feel a little bit overwhelmed, and ways that we can work through that feeling, as well as times where we just need to take a break and take a step back. So we are very understanding of the complexities of transitioning from primary to secondary school, but also what can happen at home, what can happen in school, feelings around school and education. It's very different. And I think the last 15 months has demonstrated that for some young people. So we are very understanding, and we do try to put appropriate support in place so that students can function and can be as successful as possible here at Fairfield. So a question with regards to uniform: can abayas be worn, or is it just the hijab? Currently, our school uniform policy is that it is just the hijab. Of course, if we have a non-school uniform day or an event that enables students to wear their own traditional clothing or their own cultural clothing or just their own clothes, they absolutely can. But generally, our school uniform is our school uniform attire: the shirt, the jumper, optional, trousers, skirt or shorts. And those students that would like to wear a hijab, they absolutely can. It's not compulsory at all. It's totally down to individual preference. With regards to the hijab, we do expect school colours. So plain black, navy blue, or white is our preferred choice, so that it matches well with our school uniform. One for you, Mr. Shand. School trips, when will they commence?
So we do have a few times throughout the year where Year 7 are able to access trips. Science usually do a big trip at the end of term 1, where they get to go to Birmingham to a big science exhibition. At Christmas time, the German team, the foreign languages team, put on a trip to Germany to the Christmas market, which is open to Year 7s to attend. At the end of the year, I will be running a summer camp for Year 7s, which is usually 2 nights away and 3 days. And also we have an enrichment day where we put on a variety of different trips, which cater to the whole year group. So on that day, the whole year group will go out on a trip. But there will be a few different opportunities throughout the year for small groups of Year 7s to engage in different trips throughout some of the different subjects. But the few ones I've mentioned are the main ones that are in the calendar every year, which Year 7s can take part in. Thank you.
Of course, with regards to trips, it's whether we are allowed to actually do them because of COVID now. So they are all scheduled in, but if we have to change because of COVID restrictions, then that will happen. So again, it's one of those fingers crossed situations. Thanks, Mr. Shand. A question again for you. On the first day, will students have the opportunity to meet other students?
Yep, on the first day, to start with, they would all be together for an assembly. The main part of the day, they will be with the pupils that will be in their tutor group. So that will be the first step, is they really get to know the pupils that they will be spending the majority of their lessons with. And then at break and lunch, they will have the opportunity to mix and get to know others. And myself, I will be doing an activity with them at break and lunchtime as well, to help get them used to each other more than just the people that they've been spending time with in class. But yeah, they will have the opportunity to meet with others throughout the year group and really get to know the pupils in their tutor group in more detail.
Thanks, Mr. Shand. A question in regards to our CATS tests and our group spelling and reading into that as well. They will take place in term 1. We will schedule in time for those testings to take place. They will take place within tutor group, and they'll be spread over a period of time. So students will have some disruption to their generic timetabled lessons to facilitate CATS tests. And then another question in regards to face masks. Currently, government guidance says that students do not have to wear them. As a school, we have taken the stance that they are not compulsory. However, some families have been in touch via our Vice Principal, Mr. Barnes, to express a desire to wear a face mask. And where there is a need, often it meets a medical criteria. Sometimes it's a well-being criteria. And where that has happened, we have allowed students to wear face masks. So they are not compulsory, but if a student or family or guardians desire the young person to wear the face mask, they just need to make contact with Mr. Barnes via email and just explain their reasoning. One for you, Mr. Shand, assemblies. Can you give us a little bit of an overview with regards to how Year 7s participate in assemblies? Can you describe assemblies before and during COVID?
Currently, all assemblies are virtual at the moment due to the current climate we're in. So at the moment, the pupils will remain in their tutor classes, and the tutor will log in virtually, and I will lead an assembly that way. If we do go back to normal from September, then it will run slightly different, where pupils will come out of their classes and all come down to the atrium to meet with myself, and that's where I will run the assembly. Assemblies cover a variety of different topics, different areas. Majority of the assemblies, we will be celebrating the success of Year 7 pupils. They will be given feedback on how well they are doing individually, how well they are doing as a tutor group. And also a lot of rewards are given during assemblies. And the other side of assemblies is we do speak about different topics, different things around school. So we will have assemblies around LGBTQ and bullying, different aspects, how to use social media appropriately. So different aspects that we know are important in regards to the steps that they are going to be taking through secondary school. We will have assemblies based around all those different areas, along with a few guest speakers that may come in and speak to the kids around a few different topics. Thank you.
A mention of homework at break time. Can students do homework at break, Mr. Shan?
They can do homework at break time. At the moment, again, in our current climate, we have different year groups who have access to the library on different days. If it goes back to normal from September, then the library will just be open to all year groups to access. And then once it's full, that will be the only pupils that can use it during that time. But also for myself, if the library was getting full and there was a lot of year sevens that wanted the space to work, then I would open up one of the computer rooms to make sure that they do have access when they want to complete some work. But yeah, at the moment, it's a different year group each day, but they do have the option of going to the library during break time as well as lunchtime. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Shand. And another question with regards to equipment. What should students have in a pencil case?
So for the equipment, for when they start in September, is a pen that writes in blue or black, a pen that writes in green, a pen that writes in red, a pencil, ruler, rubber, sharpener. A calculator, a scientific calculator is good because they will need that for their GCSE. So we do like to get year sevens on board with how to use it correctly from the start, and they can get used to it. So those are the basics that they will need. And we always do say have spares, and also our library does sell equipment also. So if you are in a rush and don't quite manage to get everything you need come September, once they start, they're able to purchase pieces from library for 20p, 30p. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Shand. We've had quite a lot of other questions with regards to clubs. The best way to understand the variety of clubs is once our program has been created, tutors will explain all the activities to students in tutor time. They'll also show them how they can sign up for different activities. Sometimes it's a live document completed by the students. Other times it's a live document completed by the tutor, and then the registers are sent through to the club facilitators. But all of that information will be shared on our website as well as shared with the students in tutor time. So watch this space. Another question with regards to summer school and food. Yes, there will be access to food during summer school, and it will be free. So as well as the actual event being free, so will food and snacks. So unless students want to bring their own food or snacks, they absolutely can, but there will be an offering and it will be free for some. We are almost at the end of our time. We've got enough time for, I think, one more question. So Mr. Shand, over to you. Tutor time, are they all taught in tutor groups? And if so, how many students are in a tutor group?
Tutor groups will be roughly 27 to 29 pupils total. Majority of the lessons they will be taught in their tutor groups. PE, 4 tutor groups will join together for PE. For most of term 1, they will do maths as a single tutor group. But partway through term 1, 4 classes will be mixed for maths, okay, and they will be mixed in different abilities, and then there will be a development group. And then also we have 4 lessons which are on a rotation, and that is art, engineering, food tech, and computer studies. And those 4 lessons, again, 4 classes will be mixed across those lessons. So around 95% of the lessons, they will be in their tutor groups for, and then there's only a couple that they will mix up in. Thank you.
And in regards to classes, often teachers will have a seating plan, partly to ensure that students are working and functioning and enjoying their lessons as much as possible, but also initially so that staff learn a little bit about the students. So we do have seating plans. During this particular period of time, the seating plan has been essential because that's part of our track and trace process. However, before COVID, there were some lessons where there wasn't seating plans and students were given that flexibility. So it's very much dependent on the class, the subject and the teacher. Generally, we have seating plans in school and they do often change termly, just so that students get to experience working with a variety of people within their tutor group or within their class. A final question just before we go. Will tutors have separate Zooms with families? The short answer is no. We will have a space on our transition page where we will have a meet the tutor, and you'll be able to see who your tutor is and a little bit of information about them. But there will not be a separate Zoom for tutors and families. And that brings our induction day virtual to a close. Just to say thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. If we haven't answered your question, we'll definitely scroll through and put any additional information on our transition page. This recording will also be available on our transition page. And should you need to make contact, please do, and we'll be right back in touch. Can't wait to see you in September or at summer school. Bye.